that's really our goal, is to be at the national tournament with them in this next season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, and start to be a regular competitor in the regional championship, conference championship.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to In the Nest, the Emmaus Athletic Sports Podcast. You know what I did there. I had to wait for the beat drop. I'm trying to work on that, trying to do a better job of getting in there. Last time we almost freestyled, but today we have a special podcast. We welcome Chris McHugh, the head men's soccer coach of Emmaus Athletics. Coach McHugh, Chris.
Yeah,
Can I call you Chris?
You may call me Chris.
Okay, McHugh. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here.
Yeah.
I know you're one of the biggest Emmaus men's soccer fans around, on campus, off campus, in the alumni base. And so you're the perfect guy to talk to about our season and what's going on with Emmaus soccer.
I appreciate that. I do. I love that. We talked a little bit about how, you're representing we're both up here kind of representing the men's team right here in Emmaus. So it's really great to have that. We were talking a little bit before. I know we got a lot to get into, but I like just talking,
Sure.
So so for you sports fans out there, Danny DeVito, if you recognize that name,
he's an actor, but Tommy DeVito,
that's right,
is a football player.
They're so similar in names. Gosh, give me a break. Tommy DeVito, the backup quarterback for the Giants, from Illinois. You coached him also.
I was in a former life. I was a PE teacher.
In a former life.
Yep.
That's great.
So shout out to Coach Reggie, our strength and conditioning coach, gym teacher by day and strength coach by night. But I was a gym teacher back in New Jersey and was the PE teacher for Tommy DeVito, the Giants quarterback right now in 5th and 6th grade.
Was he a Giants fan growing up? Do you know? Was everyone a Giants fan there?
Everyone was. Yeah, they won a Super Bowl with Eli back in the day, and he would wear the jerseys to class and then play dodgeball, get the kids out. So I knew he had a good arm. I knew he had accuracy, and lo and behold, he's doing it now.
That's like every kid's dream, is to play for their favorite team growing up. That's really cool. I didn't know that. So if anyone knows Tommy and they ask him who's their 5th grade gym teacher, they would say, "Oh yeah, McHugh." What would they call you? Like Mr. McHugh?
Yeah, Mr. McHugh a lot.
McHugh. Okay, fair enough. I like that. Well, we'll get into it, but we can't have an episode without our favorite little mascots. We still don't have a name for these guys, unless we do by this episode. But do you have a name for these? Are you familiar with these two? Our two
Love
favorite
these guys. I've started to see them pop up around campus, and they're going to pop up other places around the state, around the country here soon.
Oh, they're going on tour, I guess. No, we still need names for these, everyone. So please message me, message Matt, message Chris. All right, get on Eric about it. I'm talking to you, and we will. We got to figure out a name. We got to get these guys involved. I don't want this guy to be called Eddie. I'm sick of Eddie.
Yeah, we got to come up with something other than Eddie. I heard that on the last one.
He's so soft. Oh my goodness.
I liked Hatchet.
Hatchet wasn't bad for this guy.
I don't know who was that commented that, but
maybe Hatch.
I liked Hatch. Yeah,
that's my phone. Did you guys like it? That was so.
Sounds like we're in the holiday season with that.
Yeah, I am. It's actually 7 years from Lucas Graham. So, but like in mixed in with the iPhone ring. Let's not. I don't want to talk about this. All right. So today's episode, we are going to talk about the soccer season with Coach McHugh, as well as bring in some players and talk to them about the season, about their accomplishments, about their goals for next year and what they're planning on doing in the off season, but as well as life and how they got to Emmaus. So we'll be interviewing the team captain, Josh Matt, and then one of the freshmen, Bennett Kreiner. So looking forward to those interviews later in this episode. But right now, Coach, let's talk about this season. What are some I just got to ask you, what are some, well, before we get there, before we get to like the takeaways of the season, let's talk about, you are a two-time national championship coach at Moody. You've coached a lot of players throughout the year, some that have won National Player of the Year, etc. But so that's a little bit about your background. So we've interviewed you before, but if you could let the people know a little bit more about yourself and how you got to Emmaus.
Yeah, well, I'm in my 5th year at Emmaus, which is great, and we love it here. We love it in Dubuque. Mm-hmm. And prior to coming to Emmaus, I have a background in PE teaching, like I talked about, back in New Jersey.
Tommy.
Yep. And was a boys varsity soccer coach, coached youth soccer, wanted to be involved with college coaching, had done some college coaching as an assistant when I was in grad school at Montclair State in New Jersey. And just ironically, there's lots of New Jersey connections here at Emmaus. I come across them in the lunchroom and as people come to visit. So if you're a New Jersey kid and you want to come on over, we've got one on our team, and it's a great place to be. But yeah, I was at Moody for 6 seasons, and we had success there. We won 2 national championships and coached 2 National Players of the Year and a Coach of the Year award. And so excited about what we're building at Emmaus, because some of the things we've gotten to this year starting to bring back memories and remind me of some of the success we had at Moody. And a lot of our players are kind of, fighting, competing, and kind of on the cusp of, I think, doing some of the things we did at Moody. So, and
we'll get to that. I have that. We'll get to that later. But now let's talk about a little bit of your takeaways from this season, Coach. Sure. So the soccer team finished 6-5-3. So 3 ties, or draws, they say in the soccer world, which is crazy. But our home record was 4-1-1, which is amazing. Killing at home. Shout out to all the fans, all the faculty, staff, all the alum who come to the games, support our boys. So we have a great home record. We have a great CCC record, 4-2. But obviously more of those losses coming on the road. So a little bit of that, as well as some of the accomplishments from the season.
Sure,
So,
No, we had a great year. I think, again, my first year at Emmaus, I got hired into the athletic director role, and Coach Block coached in 2019 with Coach Brown, and they were coming off of a conference championship in 2018. Yeah. And we were getting ready to go in 2020 and kind of had a pause there with COVID. And so we've really been rebuilding the program again the last 3 years. So coming in this year, hoping to be competitive, have a winning record, but not sure if we were going to get there because we hadn't had that success the last 2 years. But we knew we had some good young players, and the guys really kind of picked it up right from the start. I know you and Matt have referenced our home opening game of the season when we beat Maranatha 5-1.
Yeah, that was
awesome. Great atmosphere at Fish Field all year. We had great turnout all year, like a lot of parents coming out to the game. So I feel like that really set the tone for just belief, being really competitive at home, kind of bringing the energy and competing and kind of growing into the year. So, I
have to thank you, Coach, for having such I don't know if there's a game plan to always come down to the wire and have so many close games, but it is an electric atmosphere when that happens, when you just can't sit down. You have to be standing. You got to be pacing up and down the sidelines. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be hanging out with like Matt or Luke Sterwinski, and we'll be pacing up and down the sidelines together. I'll talk to like Seth Kurtula, one of the ball boys, and we'll just I'll even talk to the ref sometimes. I don't know. It's just like such a fun atmosphere when you have such a close game. Of course, we don't want that, but I mean that's what really like draws us in, So, we honestly want to be like blowing people out, But I don't know. But having such a close game.
Yeah, it was nice to be in the games this year. We've had games that we haven't quite been in the mix, and Coach Eric Rasmussen's on the sideline with me. He's an alum. We have Anthony Flores, Coach Flores, a friend of yours that's an alum. So we've got some of that nervous tension, excitement happening on the sideline as the game's going on. And some big celebrations too. So I always joke if there was a coach's cam, it'd be interesting to see how I look during the game. Yeah. But we had I
feel like you're cool, calm, and collective, honestly. So.
Yeah. And that's what most people would think.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
Then you'll snap a clipboard and everybody, oh my goodness, he means he's serious.
Yeah.
That's the best.
I tried once this year. I
like a Tony Dungy.
It's like very resistant plastic, I found out.
Would you say what did you like turn around away from the players, or you try to break it in front of them and like it was embarrassing?
I kind of punch at it once or twice, maybe once across the knee, and it wasn't happening. So I just had to throw it in and like kind of spear it into the grass.
I would have loved to watch that, but I didn't even know.
No. But I think with that said, yeah, we had a lot of fight back this year. So you mentioned we had 3 draws. And so the team didn't give up. I think, we came back really well this year, and had a big home win against Faith, and just a lot of growth in the program. 2 years ago, honestly, we lost by a big margin against Faith at home, and so to beat them this year was a big win for us.
It was definitely, and you mentioned at the beginning, like just to see the growth of this team is amazing, and like you are creating a program, not just you, but like everyone involved with this soccer team, with the athletic program, like basketball, volleyball, cross country, they affect soccer. Soccer affects them. You see volleyball doing such a fantastic job. It really helps the growth of the athletic program, helps the growth of their team, which can help the growth of others. So it's really cool to see the growth of this team, and that's like something that we'll get over. Like this year we had 12 first-year players, and that's not even including or then like 3 community college transfers, but 9 freshmen that we had, and we'll get into that. But that just shows and tells a lot of the growth of this program and where it's going, right? And then to think about like the Crown game. Crown was a national championship level team, right? They made it to the national tournament, lost in the group stage, as we talked prior.
Yep.
But they were up there. They barely missed the championship game. Barely, literally by like 2 scores, which is a goal differential. But and we were able to compete with them.
No, we've been fortunate to play Crown the last 2 years. They've gone to the national tournament the last 2 years, so it's been a nice measuring stick to see where we're at. Lost 2-1 one year, 4-3 this year, but they're kind of right there. And within our region now, we're in the Midwest region. We have Grace Christian College. They've been to the national tournament the last 2 years. And so, that's really our goal, is to be at the national tournament with them in this next season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, and start to be a regular competitor in the regional championship, conference championship.
So how do you mentioned regionals a little bit, and regionals is what really matters, I guess you could say. Not saying a conference play doesn't matter. Conference play is a great tournament of itself, but to get to that national championship level, you have to go through the region. So for the listeners who might not know, what are some of the teams in our region, and what does the play look like?
Yeah, no, we had some regional realignment. So now Emmaus, we're in with some schools in Wisconsin and over in Michigan, and Moody Bible Institute in Chicago, Maranatha Baptist University in Wisconsin, and then we have Kuiper College. That comes in as a new team next year.
Okay.
Grace Christian University in Grand Rapids and Kuiper are both in Grand Rapids, and Great Lakes Christian College in Michigan. So Great Lakes and Grace have been competitive the last 2 years at the top. Maranatha and Moody historically have been to the national tournament. They've won national championships. So I think it's a pretty even region where anyone can win on a day, which makes it exciting as you're kind of growing into those top tier teams, which we're hoping to do. And so having seen them this year, we feel like, oh man, we've got really strong goal scorer, Christian Anderson.
Yeah. Tucker
Kappas in goal. Really was an outstanding performer for us this year. Can we keep adding pieces? And we'd love to, flip it on Crown and maybe beat them in a year or two, see them at the national tournament, and really feel like it's a possibility coming up.
Yeah, and like we had 7 players that have been recognized this year from awards. So our only senior on the team, Zach Orr, was honored with an honorable mention, all region, which is a high reward itself, competing against those schools that you just mentioned, Great Lakes and Grace being top of the cream of the crop, right? So, and then Josh Matt coming away with both first team in all conference and all region, as well as the Kyle Root Award, which you have coached previous players that have also received that award. Christian Anderson also being first team all conference, first team all region. We have Tucker being first team all conference, honorable mention all region, which for a freshman goalie going up against one of the best goalies in the nation that is in our region.
Yep.
That's also really good. Impressive. Pretty much saying that possibly the second best goalie in the region as a freshman going up. What is is that goalie a junior?
The Grace goalie, I think he was a senior this year, but I think he was the All-American selection at goalkeeper too.
Yeah. See, and Tucker's going up against this guy when it comes to votes, and he's already being recognized as someone that's gonna possibly be cream of the crop, right? So then you got Caleb Hunter, second team all conference, but first team all region, which I would take that any day.
Yeah, no, so kudos to Caleb.
And then you got Bennett Kreiner, who had second team all conference, honorable mention, all region, and Edwin Ventura, second team all conference. So there's a lot of words I just said that might have been like went over. Exactly.
I mean, that's 7 players recognized. You start 11 on the field. So, I mean, more than half of our guys are being recognized for their performances. And we have top guys. I mean, really, you're going to talk to Josh and Bennett here shortly. And Josh has just been a top performer since the day he stepped in. He's a 3-time first-team all-region player. So for the guys playing with us now and the guys that are going to be playing with us next year, I tell them, like, you are playing with one of the best players in the country. And Josh is an All-American level.
Yeah.
We just need to get a couple more wins and put ourselves in some of those bigger games so that more coaches can see him.
Yeah, Josh has a very unique season this year.
Yeah,
and we'll talk about that later. But just the fact that you look at what is on the sheet, when it comes to stat wise, it's like, oh, whatever.
Right.
But that's the thing about soccer that a lot of people don't understand. And maybe you can explain to people why it's not always important what is on. These numbers don't always mean
tell
everything.
The whole story, right?
Yeah, they don't tell the whole story.
Yeah, no, I think. Josh's season is a little bit intertwined with Christian Anderson. He was our forward this year. Christian's one of the leading goal scorers in the country.
Yeah.
He had 13 goals, and he was producing most of the attack for us. So that meant Josh could do all these little things and just put out fires and defend. He could make a final pass, or he could pass to someone else who's going to pass to Christian. But, I mean, Josh played all 3 positions, defender, midfield, forward this year, center forward, center back, center midfield. So honestly, as the year went on and Christian picked up an injury the last couple of games, just my reappreciation for Josh elevated because he's doing all these things pretty effortlessly in terms of how he carries himself, but putting in a ton of effort on the field.
And that's something crazy for you listeners who might not know soccer quite well. For Josh to be able to play pretty much all 3 different phases of the field and come away with a first-team all-conference, first-team all-region is extremely impressive. Usually, if a player, let's say if they're normally a forward, but you have to drop them back on defense or midfield throughout the season, and they're jumping around, then they're competing against players in all those positions when it comes to these awards. So Josh did that this season, but still walked away with, the top honor, right? So shows and tells a lot of not just the player Josh is, but also the character, especially with that Kyle or the Kyle Award. So
can I just jump in on that?
Yeah,
the Kyle Road Jr. Award is this award that the National Christian College Athletic Association kind of recognizes one individual in each sport as an overall performer, someone who's a leader on their campus, on their team, service in the community, service in their church, love for the Lord, and good academics. So kind of this blended. And Josh was recognized as the selection for across all the country, all the soccer players on the men's side. And so big honor for Josh and I think for Emmaus. And so really proud of him. And again, just has been a great leader for our team and someone that the guys can look up to.
Well-deserved award, that is for sure. So we're talking a lot about players right now, and something that's really cool, or not necessarily really cool, but a question for you. We had 9 freshmen this year, but 13 first-year students. Just because they're a transfer doesn't mean they might not act like a freshman. How was babysitting this year? Was it like babysitting, or was it like herding cats? What do we got here?
Yeah, sometimes coaching can resemble babysitting. And sometimes some of your biggest successes is picking the right restaurant, feeding them well. Everyone's happy after the game.
That's one of my questions for the guys. What's their favorite spot?
Yeah. So, but these guys honestly did not take a ton of babysitting. Coach Eric and I got back from every trip and we were like, man, that went pretty smooth. The guys have been responsible, taking care of business. And so we definitely have a lot of lighthearted moments and can rag on each other or little jokes here and there. But this is a really good group to coach. So, yeah.
Who do you think the players prefer? Because we take 2 vans, right?
Yeah.
Now that the bus broke down, who do the So why can't I talk about that? Hey, if you're
we did survive a bus breakdown a couple of seasons ago.
That was impressive.
We took the last trip in the bus. Yeah, we retired it.
So if you're a listener and you want to sponsor a new bus, Come on in.
Come on down.
We would love it. I remember I was a manager for the soccer team for 3 years, and having the whole team together on the bus really built community, really helped us define some character and grow bonds with one another, which helped our performance on the field. You look at 2018, we were able to win the conference that year, and the bus rides were and the away trips were always everyone's favorite, right? You don't want players and teams to be like, oh, I got to go away this weekend. You want them to be excited, to be like hanging out with their friends, creating memories, fellowship, like true fellowship, like breaking bread, and having a good time, not just doing homework, but doing homework, but so.
No, we have good trips, and there's 2 distinct vans.
Yeah,
Coach got one van, I got one van. I think they both have their own vibe. They have their own style of conversation. Yep.
What's your vibe? What's your van vibe?
I'll be honest, my van was a little more on the quiet side. I mean, but we had, I had Caleb Pogon in the front seat with me sometimes, and he'll have the big headphones on like this and just be chilling for about 2-3 hours, and all of a sudden he'll just come at me with something total random in fact. And him and Spicinger sometimes doing some geopolitical talk and mixing in some theology. So we had some interesting ones, but I think pretty distinct from what was going on in Coach Eric's car.
Eric, what was your car like?
We had a lot of good conversations. we talk sports, we talk theology,
girls.
Girls. They talk a lot of girls.
They're waiting for that season to get over.
I tried to stay out of those ones.
Yeah, that's good.
Although I grilled them on the relationships a little bit, maybe. But we there's some crazy stuff that happened in our cars. But
we did have a no dating policy for the freshmen until the season was over.
That's new.
It went somewhat successfully.
See, I wasn't even going to talk about that, but I mean, I didn't even actually consider talking about it. But where did that come from?
I think you come on campus the first time, you're a new student, preseason's great, you're getting to know the guys on your team, you're starting to get to know some of the other athletes that are on campus, cross-country team, volleyball team. Love for everyone to hang out as a group, keep showing up at each other's game. Mm-hmm. Maybe you make eye contact with someone, but you have other things to focus on. You got your school, you got your sport, and we just said, hey, just put it on the back burner. Mm-hmm. Season's going to be over early mid-November. Go home at Thanksgiving, and then if it's still there,
take her home.
Yeah, if that look in the eye is still there, maybe something can happen for you.
I appreciate that. I think a lot of not just freshmen, but people, young adults need to hear that. Is to really focus on building, their schedule, their structure in life, and their foundation, especially coming into a new community, new culture. Trying to understand that first before falling in love. So
yeah.
But that's awesome. But so. Not like herding cats, so a lot of responsible freshmen, though.
I would say so. I think, good group. We talk a lot of football, make a lot of other sports analogies as we coach. Are always backdoor cuts from basketball, post patterns from football.
The basketball ones didn't work as well this year, Coach.
No.
Last year, we had a lot of guys that really got our basketball references, not so much this year.
So you're going to change it up.
So I'm a Bears fan, so I was kind of ragging on the Bears for a lot of the season. Mm-hmm. And
are you guys going to keep Justin Fields? What do you think?
Again, the Giants and the Bears are now 2 of the hottest teams in football, so we'll see what happens.
Okay, yeah, like
Bears 3 out of 4, yeah.
I think Giants, you should keep Justin. I mean, right now you guys have 2 top 5 picks. So.
At least our quarterback's healthy, Shane.
He broke his finger.
Yep.
He just broke his. Who cares? At least mine is better.
Shane's a Chargers fan.
I'm a Chargers fan. It's like such a random thing to be a Chargers fan. Why'd I choose them? I would like. There's an Interstellar meme of like the person screaming, whatever. I'm that with like, why did I choose to be a Chargers fan? If I could go in the past and like scream at young Shane, like, don't do this.
Yeah.
Don't do this. Gosh.
But Emmaus is a fun place to be because we got football all fall. We got Packers fans. We got Vikings fans. Bears fans.
The Packers fans up here are the worst. Packers fans are nice. I went to a Packers game this year, but here they're just I can't with them. So, and you probably enjoy that being a Bears fan.
Yeah.
But let's get back on soccer. Even though it's fun to talk about football, but this is the real football. Stupid joke. But so we talked a little bit about the players, and we've talked about we've mentioned just the accomplishments, the awards that all these players have received, and I want to combine that with your previous success when you were coaching at Moody. You had 3 Kyle Root Jr. Award winners that were on your rosters, or I guess now 3, two from Moody, but second you had two national championship players of the year, but then you were the 2012 coach of the year, national coach of the year, as well as winning the national championship 2012 and 2013. With all that said, from your success at Moody, being the head coach there, growing the program, inheriting it, everything, by the time you entered the door and left, what are some similarities of the program, the team, but the team specifically, not necessarily the program, but the foundation you had there for the team, to what we have today with this Emmaus men's soccer team?
Yeah. No, there's growing similarities, and also want to shout out Zach Ort, who just finished and was our one senior this year, because he was here expecting to play. We didn't have the season in 2020, and he stuck with us, and he's really helped lay this foundation to where now we've got these 9 freshmen, couple community college guys to build on what Carlos Ventura, our other captain, Josh have done. So I think what we're starting to see is, one, we've got like great families in the program, and those guys come from great families. So their parents have pointed them to Christ. They're coming to our games. And these guys are here at Emmaus for the right reasons. They appreciate and want to study the Bible as part of their education. So some are in ministry majors, some are business majors or teacher education. But what we tell guys as they're thinking about coming here too is, this is a great place to see and set the stage for what God has for you, for your life. You don't need to know. Some people are pretty clear. I want to do this. Others are like, I'm not sure, but I want to grow in my faith. And I want to play soccer. And when you're thinking those two things, like, this is a fantastic spot to be. And so this freshman group is helping to lay that foundation. I think our culture here, we're talking about faith. You said football, soccer, football, faith, football, future are the 3 things we talk about. And we want you to grow and take the next steps in your walk with Christ. We want you to get better as a player.
Yes.
And you have to put in the time and effort yourself. And if you do that, well, then you can walk with courage and faith into your future and like what God's going to have for you. So, every season it's unknown. You can want to go to the national championships, but you got to do the work, and you might have some tough, close losses along the way. But if you do put in the work, there's nothing to be ashamed of, and everything might fall in your favor, and you could overcome some of the challenges and go to the national championship. And then you get to give praise to God and a big testimony of like, well, here's the things we're doing, and we want to follow him in faith. So I think some of the similarities is just guys that are really competitive. We love multi-sport guys. So, and guys that come from high school programs that win at, I think Bennett wrestled. I think Caleb Hunter was a wrestler. They're on all region. So that's great. Tucker played basketball. So you bring some of these elements in, and then everyone meshes together, and we keep getting better as soccer players and kind of grow as a team. I always say, like, we're going to play, and this was at Moody too, we're going to be better at the end of the season than we are in September. We're just not giving up. And there's always a point in the season where you're like, it would be better just to be done. Like, this would be easier. and it's true. It would be easier if you were done, but like, that's not what we're doing here. We're like pushing the whole way. And so, I think there's some similarities starting to develop between the two programs. And it's really, the guys that come with a great work ethic, they want to be a great teammate and do things together with their teammates, and they're willing to just try.
That's good. That's so it sounds like we got a lot of great character on the team. We have the character, we have the skill, and within the character, that the faith aspect of growing your relationship with Jesus. And I see that with these guys, these players, of the seriousness of their faith, and it's really cool. And I think a lot of like Caleb Hunter, for example, like this guy, I was his admissions counselor, and I helped bring him in here. But the whole process last year of trying to get him to come here, finding out that this guy plays soccer, watching his film, and be like, oh, this guy's like not just like a soccer player, but he's a soccer player, and just what he brings into the community and on this team as someone who is a mature believer. Goes a long way. And like, there's a ton of shout outs that we could have, like with Zach being on the team and coming back and not choosing to, in the summer saying, I'm not going to play. I'm going to focus on senior year. But then being like, I miss it. I want to play.
Credit to you and to Coach T, who are always repping all the teams and men's soccer and trying to say, hey, there's an opportunity here. And so someone like Caleb comes on the radar. I think he worked at summer camp and had interacted with Luke Sawinski and Zach Scholl and knew some of these guys. And then turns out he's a fantastic soccer player, and he kept getting better as the season went on. Super tough. Can't get past him ever.
I love it.
Yeah, he's just going to throw his body in the front of everything.
He's got the drive that's like a workhorse. He won't quit, and it's great to have a player like that on a team. I think about not Tucker we have now, but another Tucker that we had on a team. His name was Tyler Tucker, and he was like a train because when he ran around practice, he would be like chugging along.
Yeah,
he would make those noises, and he would just freak out everybody. But the thing is, like, he always went hard, right? And
Caleb's one of those guys.
Caleb's one of those guys. So that's but brings a lot of skill to the soccer field. So it's really
like
great.
You were saying, mature in his faith. I know one of the guys was telling me yesterday, "Hey, Coach, did you know we just started a Bible study here at the end of the semester?" I was like, "No, didn't know." He's like, "Yeah, we're going through Galatians. We're trying to finish studying Galatians. We're doing Thursday nights." And as a head coach, you're like, I love being the last one to know. They didn't need us to give them the idea. And they're like wanting to be together and wanting to see what the word says and how it applies to their life here at Emmaus. So that's a big praise. That
is awesome. I love hearing those stories of the students really going out and just having their own stuff, like outside of the classroom, outside of church, and what we are here at Emmaus, and just making it a reality, right? So we talked a little bit about the similarities of your national championship teams back at Moody, and how a lot of the similarities of the competitiveness, the character, the skill that we have here at this team. So what is separating us from being the number 1 seeded team in region, which we were today or this year, to being the number 3 to 1 seed in national tournament play?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And that's what we're working on with the guys that are here. And as we recruit and talk to families and some of the guys that are in high school, juniors, seniors, we had 20 guys on the roster this year. I think for 24, we'd love to be in 2024. We'd love to have 24, 25 guys. Yeah. And just kind of keep adding depth and a little more quality on some of the outside positions, extra wingers, some fullbacks. So guys that can keep playing with the ball and we can dictate games. I think that's what Coach Eric and I talk about. Like, can we be proactive and do all the things with the ball consistently so that we don't have to defend and just counterattack, which is an effective way to score. We did that this year. Christian is super fast, super strong. Yeah. Got in behind the defense, could finish against a keeper, drew like 5 penalty kicks this year. So awesome. That's a good path for us to score, but we'd love to add some more. So I know, just a shout out for the guys we're talking to, and we've made some offers. If we're talking to you, we're really interested. Yeah. Like, give us a look, because you're some of these guys that are going to get us over the hump and put us in the championship game, take us down to Florida. I say there's no better place to be the week before Thanksgiving than Florida. Orlando, Florida. You could be in class. You're going to do the class work from Florida, but we can do it from Florida and play a couple more soccer games. Yeah.
And the thing is like, what would you say? I'll let you talk about this, because Matt and I speak a lot about the programs here at Emmaus. But what separates us here at Emmaus as an athletic program from other schools?
That's a great question too. I think here, you guys talk about it. I think we have a fantastic coaching staff across the board. At Emmaus, we've got Coach Eric, Coach Anthony, both alums, both played in the program and love the Lord and want to help the guys get better on the field and off the field. So I think, and our guys on our team too, like I said, they want to play and they want to grow. So it's a very cohesive group. And I think in the tough moments of soccer games, like all playoff games are going to be close. So I know Coach Eric and I told the guys at some point, 2 weeks left in the season, I'm like, guys, if you're going to win, you're going to win by 1 goal. Like, we're only scoring 2. You guys have to win 2-1 or 2-0. And it's going to be tension filled in the last 10 minutes. Shane's going to be talking to the ref. People are going to be nervous, shaking out the nerves on some of these plays. And so really, can you survive those moments or can you respond? So I'd say at the end of our season this year, we showed a lot. We scored a tying goal in the conference tournament when we were down to 10 men. We tied a game at Maranatha 1-1. Joseph Spicinger scored. Christian didn't play, our leading goal scorer. Tucker saved a PK to preserve the tie. Joseph tied it up in like the 78th, 80th minute.
That's insane.
So some of those elements are starting to show up of, Faith, we won 2-1 at home. Christian had got hurt that game. We were playing fantastic the first 20 minutes. He goes down, and then we kind of have to change our game plan and really defend a lot in the second half. So I think, just adding a little more soccer specific, a little more speed. We could use some fast guys on the outside to keep getting behind the defense. A little bit more consistency with our passing, but a lot of the structures there. Mostly we just need to play more together. I told Eric, we just had 9 freshmen on the field. They just need to play another 10, 15 games together.
Yeah.
And when they're juniors, seniors, we keep talking about you and Matt. I know I listen to every show, so if you're not listening, you got to listen. But, excited for 24, excited for 25, volleyball team, cross country, basketball teams, as they get more reps together in this next year or two.
Oh, that volleyball team next year they're going to nationals. you can, they're like,
right here. I'm saying that now. Here first.
Like, I don't care if they crucify me or whatnot, but like they're going to nationals next year. I'm putting it, it's on the pin. It's the circle. Like, oh, they're going to be. Make sure to have no events that weekend because the volleyball team will be out of town. So, this is awesome to hear. What really separates us as a program, but even just as a school, and how what's something I think everyone preaches on here and shares is that you're more than a number. You are a face. You are a name. You're a person here. And how does that work? What does that look like in this soccer team for these players who might be listening, who you want to recruit, who we want to bring in, not just for soccer, but for this culture here at Emmaus to grow it real quickly. But what separates us from that? What is something that maybe they want to hear of how they'll be a more than a number?
One of the questions that comes up a lot is like, if I play sports, like, is that a good use of my time? Like, how am I actually going to grow closer to God playing sports? Mm-hmm. Like, isn't that just like 15 hours a week that I've lost, where I could be earning money, I could be whatever. And on the flip side, I say that's 15 hours. That is a super unique experience where you're with brothers or sisters in Christ. You're trying to meet a goal and strive for something. And what we tell our team in the beginning is like, you have an opportunity to know Christ in a different way because you're going to go through a season with these guys. And the struggle of trying to reach the goals of losing, responding to disappointment, or succeeding and not getting prideful or arrogant, conceited, and the sharpening, we talk about iron sharpens iron a lot, but that if the Holy Spirit, which he does, lives in you and lives in me, when I say something and confront you or encourage you, it's not just me doing it, it's the Lord like trying to build you up or point you back. And so, I think whatever role you have on a team, and this for the guys that might come next year, you're player 22, you play a big role. Like our second team guys this year really sharpened our first team.
Yeah.
And that can be tough to accept. No one wants to be like, all right, I'm the backup quarterback, I'm the backup whatever. But sometimes that's the role God gives you for that season. And I think at a place like Emmaus, you asked what's the difference. It's like you can ascend out of that role. So within a season, you could play yourself into a position. Sometimes there's injuries. And by the time you get to your third and fourth year here, we have so much time together we talked about. There's this huge trust. You know what we're looking for. We know how you work. And now you could have a more prominent role than you did your first year for sure.
And that's awesome. That's how I see that at Emmaus, like through and through, not just in the athletic program, but in academics, and how your professors will know who you are and want to help you succeed, but more importantly, grow your relationship with Jesus, and they'll walk alongside you. So thank you for touching on that a little bit. But what are some of your guys' real quickly? What are the goals next year? Do you have any? I know you're probably not wanting to share too much, but of course, like maybe everyone's goal is to like. Just like in the NFL, so win the Super Bowl. But maybe some more, not saying that's not realistic, but obviously let's not look at the end of the season, but at the beginning of the season, coming into the fall, what do you want? What do you and Eric are looking for into the soccer team?
Yeah, no, we've almost finished our schedule for next year. We're going to have a really good schedule, competitive schedule.
Any like calendar circles?
Well, we have some guys from Minnesota on the team. We're going to be going up to play University of Northwestern St. Paul up in St. Paul, Twin Cities area.
You're playing Northwestern?
Yeah. So that'll be a big one for us early in the season.
That is huge. That's
exciting for our Minnesota families to come out and support.
NCC, that's D1. In NCCAA.
Yeah, for their sports, NCCAA, they play D1 and they're in the D3 conference up there, the UMAC. So that'll be a good test. And, I think as we perform in those games, that'll give us a picture of how we could do at the top end of our conference and region. So we didn't get to play in either the conference championship or the region championship this year. We were like real close. Mm-hmm. So for sure, our goal is to be in those championship games and to give ourselves a chance by the end of the season to feel like, oh, we can win. We don't have to just be here. We can win something next year.
Cool. Well, thanks for that teaser a little bit. And I appreciate that. And we're looking to grow the roster more, get that depth I see too. So, but thank you so much, Coach McHugh. I appreciate you having you on the podcast, and good luck with the Bears and the rest of the season, of course.
Yeah, no, we'll hope to be there. The Bears have a chance to sneak in the playoffs. They run the table 9-8, beat the Packers in the last game of the season. We'll be there. So
you guys aren't making the playoffs. I'm just gonna say right. I'm sorry. All right. Well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate having you on and hearing more about the soccer program in this season and what you have to take away and what we look forward into the future and this young team growing. So now we're gonna transition into our interviews of the players with Josh, Matt, and Bennett Kreiner. So thank you for listening, everyone. We'll see you just now.
Yep. Thanks, Shane.
All right, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for hopefully you enjoyed the first portion of the podcast with Coach Chris McHugh. Now we have Bennett. I've been saying your name wrong, your last name, and I feel terrible.
No, it's all good.
Say it. I don't want to mess up again. So you got to say it.
Kreiner. Yeah.
I don't know what I've been saying. I've been saying a lot of stuff. I'm going to start calling Josh Matty. We'll get to Josh Matty later. But real quickly, so tell us a little bit about yourself, Bennett, and how you got to Emmaus. Just a little bit about your story and, where you see yourself going after your academics here.
Yeah. Emmaus was not really my first choice, to be honest.
It never is.
And no.
That sounds terrible, but it's some people it is, though. But okay, continue.
But no, Coach McHugh knows that. He was kind of reaching out to me, and I was like, I don't really want to. I got other plans and stuff. And he kind of kept reaching out to me, and then over time, I just kind of started thinking about it. And the reason why I started thinking about it more was I just kind of felt called to ministry a little bit. My youth pastor has been a huge role in my life. Shout out to Cole.
Shout out Cole.
Yeah, he probably won't watch this, but it's like, all right.
You send it to him.
Yeah. He has been very influential on me, just inspiring and just seeing how he has served the Lord. He's only like 4 years older than me, but he's given up his full-time vocation to do full-time ministry. And that's something that I have looked up to. And so that's why I kind of wanted to do the same, serve the Lord in that aspect. And I've gotten a lot of encouragement from my pastors and from Cole that I have gifts of teaching and all of that. And they said they think I would be great for ministry of some kind. And I believe that too. And I believe that that's God calling me to ministry. So that's why I started pondering Emmaus more. I'm like, well, if I'm going to be going into ministry at some point in my life, why not just go to Emmaus now where I can be prepared already? So yeah. And then one thing led to another, and now I'm here at Emmaus and just trying to get as well prepared for whatever ministry God has for me. Obviously my plans did not happen initially in the college decision. So I don't want to make plans again, you know, I don't want to say I want to be a pastor, I want to start my own church, because I don't know what God's gonna do. That. He can use me for whatever ministry he has in his plan. And so I'm it's a little difficult not knowing the exact things that I need to study, but I'm trying to be as broad as possible to get every single aspect, so that when the time comes for the Lord to show me a direction, then I can be like, all right, I'm ready for whatever it is. So
I love that. That's such a pivotal thing to get to really understand and process, especially at a young age like yourself, of understanding what I want isn't necessarily what the Lord wants, and what the Lord wants is more important. So
that's huge.
It's really great for you to express that, share that, and for anyone listening, maybe they're going through the same thing, and you touched base on a little bit of how Emmaus wasn't your first option, but now you're here. I hope you're enjoying it. I think you're enjoying it. And you guys had a pretty successful soccer season, you could say. And especially, yourself being a second team all conference as well as an honorable mention when it comes to regional play. But what was it that like really, I mean, I guess you touched base on like ministry and everything, but I'm going to tell you this, there's a lot of there's a lot of soccer players out there and students themselves that maybe are questioning coming to Emmaus. And saying I don't want that. It's a smaller school. It's it's like ministry focused. Yet we do have professional degrees as well. What is something that you would say to them right now? I know probably this is something to wrap up with, but what was something that you would say to them when making that college decision? Yeah,
one thing that I had heard from others on my visits and that I've experienced here at Emmaus over and over again is just the community. It's amazing. Yeah. Everywhere you go, you see a friendly face. And that's because it's so small. Some people may not like that, but like it just feels comfortable. It feels like home. Everyone has just a connection, especially with the soccer team. Like we're close, we're brothers, we're family, and for a lot of things, most of us do a lot of things together. We've just already formed, at least for me, formed a group that we can turn to and do Bible study and do life with. And it's just really great. The community here is very, very fast at forming, and it's just really awesome. Yeah, I would love to just have an episode of just talking about this specifically, but we'll continue on as we have a lot to cover. But being a part of this team, you talk about community a lot, and what is like one of the it's a large freshman class, and a lot of talent. Yeah. Does that excite you, being a part of a team with a lot of talented players on it? It does. Yeah, I came into this year not really sure how good we would be, how many freshmen there were. It was really encouraging coming in on August 11th. It feels like not that long ago. But during preseason and just seeing all the freshmen, but the whole team, and seeing how good we could actually be if we come together and play as a team, play as a family. Get a little more pieces in there, a couple more players. We started to do that towards the end of the year, and I honestly felt that if we had a few more weeks, we were going to be great, a lot better than where we were at, and so it just excites me for next year and the next 3 years, especially if all of those guys stay. Yeah. Tuttle, you better stay. All right. I love Josiah's a fun guy. Yeah. Now a little fun question. What van do you ride with? Do you go with Chris McHugh or do you go with Eric? Coach Eric. You go with Eric. What are some of your guys' conversations? Do you choose it for like conversation based? Do you choose it because, Eric is Eric's Eric, I guess. He's a weirdo. Yeah, he's a little weird. So, but like, do you choose is it fun? Do you enjoy the car rides? Yeah. I sit at a spot where, I can sleep if I want to, I can do school if I want to, but I could also party if you want to. Yeah, party if I want to. We would sleep on the aisles. Yeah, we've had people doing that. Okay. Yeah. But yeah, we listen to music. Eric shared some of his past dating stories, so that's been fun. Oh, I don't want to hear those. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But when you say you listen to music, I just imagine Eric only listening to Concerning Him podcasts and listening to himself. Yeah, that's the only thing we listen to all the time. No. Dude, you're so self-centered. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Yeah. What's the hot spot? So Coach McHugh kind of talked a little bit about babysitting you guys. I'm joking. He didn't say that, but that he complimented you guys actually of choosing healthier options when it comes to food. So what was maybe you didn't, but what do you feel like is like the best place you guys have gone to this year when choosing a restaurant to eat at for away trips? For me, it was Ponch. Just Ponch. Are you Ponch or Chipotle? I don't know. It depends. I like them both. Okay. Whatever. That's lame. But I guess after season we went to Pizza Ranch. So that was a dub. That was a dub. Mm-hmm. Pizza Ranch is a dub. I've never heard that before. No. So, wow. So do you feel like it was
a pretty successful season for yourself or for the team itself?
Yeah. Overall, I mean, first winning record since 2018.
Yeah.
I think that's right. And I like not knowing where the season was going to be, at least on my end, and then having 9 freshmen starting at different times in the season, being able to come together over the course of the season and produce that result is, I think, just huge, not only for us as a team, but for the soccer program.
Yeah.
And it's just very promising and exciting going forward.
And I love hearing this from you, of like how much you are, infatuated with the culture here, with the community, especially on the soccer team. And I hear that from, all you guys. You guys just like started a Bible study, hanging out. So, that's something that is very unique that you can have here. And the thing is, like, yeah, you can make friends anywhere, you can hang out anywhere, but are those friendships Christ-centered? And you've experienced that here at Emmaus, of experiencing, people who are like-minded when it comes to biblical things. Do you see a lot of growth because of that aspect within you, just within this first semester?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. My soccer team in high school was nowhere near what it's like here. Like, it's completely different. And I think it caught me off guard a little bit.
Yeah.
During preseason stuff, it's like I actually have teammates that share the same faith.
Yeah.
That I can talk to about things, I can pray with, I can bond over the gospel with, and it's just really, really amazing. Because I've never had that before, It's just really great.
Yeah. Have you seen a lot of your character on the field, not just off the field, but on the field, kind of change? If that's like, if maybe you're a rough player in high school, but then now you're like, okay, like I got to shape him up, Have you seen a lot of what you've been learning, a lot of the examples of others, Josh himself maybe, have rubbed off on you and how you carry yourself on the field? Because that's what I really appreciate about Emmaus, is the players don't just they don't just come here to play, but they come here to grow their relationship with Jesus. And you see that on the field. That's why we walk away with sportsmanship awards all the time. So have you like kind of seen that a little bit of your play?
Yeah. Like you said, Josh is a huge example. I was going to say he definitely is just, you look at him and he's like, I'm like, that's who I want to be on the field, not just off the field. And, I had my moments during the season where, I wasn't doing that, but it's definitely pushing me to next season. It's like, I want to hold myself to a higher standard, and that's Christ's standard, just on the field as well. So
I love that, and I'm really looking forward to you guys playing next year and seeing your sophomore year, which your play is gonna increase. It's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be great. But real quickly before you leave, I have a question in here that I really want to ask, and it was, you'll graduate 2027?
Yeah.
Spring 2027. Of course, you'll have your last soccer season will be fall 2026. But when you walk across that stage at 2027, as all your classmates will know who you are, your professors will know who you are, and what do you want your legacy on the field? Obviously, off the field, that's a different question, and I'm sure there's a lot of things of like you preaching in chapel, having Bible studies and discipleship programs here. But on the field, what do you kind of want to walk away with? How many banners do you want to be in the gym? Like, what do you want them to look back and be like, this soccer team in this portion was the best soccer team Emmaus has ever had?
I was talking to Josh earlier before we came in here, and next 3 years, conference champs.
Yeah.
2 of those years, I would love to go to nationals.
Yeah. And
hopefully bring back a national champ for Coach.
Yeah.
That would be his third.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
That'd be crazy.
And I don't think Emmaus has ever won a regional game when it comes to soccer. So that would be a huge accomplishment. It's just winning a regional game.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we need more players. So, listen to this story of Bennett, of someone who didn't really necessarily want to come to Emmaus, but saw the impacts that it has been, and you aren't looking back. So thank you, Bennett, so much. I appreciate you coming on. And now we're off to talk to Josh Matty. And we welcome Josh Matty to the podcast. I know it's Josh Matt, but I've been saying Bennett's name wrong too, so I'm gonna say your name wrong. So he's not the only one left out. Here's your friends that you've tried to introduce us with names. We've shared them on the podcast. We can talk more about that later, but we don't have much time. This podcast has gone too long, but it's awesome. I wanna go longer, right? But something I kind of, before we begin, introduce yourself. Tell the people who you are. Who is Josh Matt? How'd you get to Emmaus?
Well, Emmaus was not my first choice, but it was my only option.
Okay.
Yeah. I wanted to play soccer in college.
Yeah.
I also knew I wanted to be in ministry. I was like looking around at different schools and just like there were like no open doors. Everybody either didn't respond to me or they were like super far away.
Yeah.
Further than 8 hours away. And yeah, Emmaus just fit. Like at that point I wanted to be business administration so that I could do business for ministries, that administrative side. But yeah, that's a short story.
And I love it. I love hearing people's story, how they got to Emmaus, and a lot of times it's the Lord leading, and of course that's where you want to go. You want to follow the Lord. But Josh Matt from Canada, Captain Canada, is what the students as well as the soccer players call him now and again. I'm a little cheesy, but you like it.
I love cheese.
Yeah. So what's your major now that you started in business? What are you now?
I am ministry leadership.
Yeah. Okay, so you're part of the EM department, fun department, really great. That was the department I was a part of. But this is your junior year here. Yep. You came in and lived in a dorm halls. Now you're married, so
yeah,
that's awesome.
Exciting.
You enjoy married life?
I do.
That's awesome. So you guys been married for almost a year, correct?
A year, the 27th. This month.
So there you go. So I still look at me. I knew that. Almost a year. There we go. So congratulations on a year of marriage. That's really fun. Kind of looking into soccer a little bit. One of the questions I asked you, or I sent to you before was, what were some of your goals for this year? And you come in with this sheet. I just can't not talk about this, but here, I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a sheet you made on Canva.
Yeah.
All right. But this is Josh Matt's goals, his soccer goals, number 5, soccer goals.
Yeah.
And I love it. Glorify Christ above all. But some of your goals was to win the Kyle Root Junior Award next year.
Yep.
But you didn't think you would win it this year. How does it feel what do you feel the honor to win this award? And what is that feeling? What is that like?
Yeah, I feel so incredibly blessed to receive that award, knowing that it's Christ in me doing all that work. And that's the only reason I love ministry, I love serving. It's because of Christ and his transformation in my life. Not even before Emmaus as well. I was saved at 14, but also the sanctification that I've seen at Emmaus as well has been incredible. And I owe everything to Christ, and then to my wife, and then to Emmaus.
Yeah, the order.
Yeah.
That's great. This is really cool, actually, of how maybe we should post something like this. But you made this before coming to Emmaus?
No, sorry. I made that this summer.
This summer.
Yeah.
Okay. So you made this summer for your goals, So which ones have you not hit? Which ones have you not gotten to yet? I'm stealing this.
Oh, this is totally going to be super embarrassing because people are going to be like, you're not going to get that. But I read a book this summer, and it talked about making goals to become mentally strong in the game, whatever the game is. And it said to shoot big. So I figured, what's bigger than National Player of the Year?
Hey, I love that.
So that's a goal for 2024 next year.
Let's do it. Let's get those pieces around us. Okay.
Scholar athletes on there as well. For this year and next year. I didn't get it this year. That's cool.
Hey,
I'll get it next year.
There we go.
No problem. All-American first team or second team this year, I did not get, but I'm totally happy with that.
Hey, but you walked away with the first team all conference, first team all region.
Yep.
And the Kyle Root, which I'm surprised you don't really have that on here. It's the all region teams, but okay, continue.
Yeah. So then there's the conference MVP, 2023, 2024. I did not get it this year. James Busness at Faith Baptist. Dude, come on. You're just too good. Yeah, it was tough. He's one of the toughest players to defend. I don't like defending him at all. But I think he's graduating this year, so
next year is yours.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about him.
That's great.
I'll miss him on the field. And then just a blanket goal, hardest working attacker and defender. Yeah, that was just for mindset.
Yeah,
to try and do that every single game, every single practice.
I love it. And it's like in the Emmaus colors too.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of good stuff on here. And this is like really cool to like be goal orientated and to, you know, have something in mind in the future, but like something that you're working towards. And even if like it's in your mind or if it's on a piece of paper, that's really awesome. You know, and I feel like you should get the whole team to do this, man.
That's what we have a team meeting today.
Oh.
I want to show this and talk about it and help people work through it.
Sweet. No, that's awesome. So you hit some of the goals this year, which is awesome. And where do you feel like you've grown as a player since your freshman year that has gotten you to this point?
Oh man, yeah, freshman year. I think just a big thing was like I got injured closer to the end of the season.
Yeah.
So a big thing of mine, I want like just like finishing a season.
Mm-hmm.
The past 2 years, I've done that the past 2 years. So I've been really, really proud about that. My ankles are normally dead by the end.
Yeah.
They've been a lot better this year. So like I'm just like I see myself progressing just like physically.
Yeah.
Staying on top of it, staying in better shape. And I think like skill wise, shooting has like pretty increased for me.
Do you feel like Emmaus has helped a lot with in growing your skills as a player?
Yeah. And yeah, exactly. And even like I talk about this a lot. I've had a lot of coaches growing up, and I only had one coach back home who like really taught me like fundamental like technical skills. And Coach McHugh is like the first coach I've ever had to like teach me a soccer system, to teach me how to play with a team, like what to do in different scenarios, like where to have freedom. First coach to ever do that, and he's the best coach I've ever had.
That's nice.
And I've like grown so much in my soccer knowledge. Before it was like, sure, I was a good player. I could dribble. I could score a goal if I needed to, or dribble or pass the ball where I needed to go. And that has gotten better here, but knowledge of the game, love for the game, completely like changed and transformed here.
How's like your family seen a lot of growth in you, or like your twin brother, you know? So,
well, no, he, you know, we fight about who's the better soccer player all the time. So it's like, he probably won't acknowledge that
your growth.
I'm getting better, or that I'm better than him, because he's better than me. He is better than me.
Well, we'll see. We'll see next year when you're National Player of the Year, you know? So
exactly.
Hey, there we go, baby. So you were the captain this year. Awesome honor, you know. You're also the captain last year as well. So what was it like this year, though, specifically with babysitting all the freshmen that we had on the team?
Man, it was really fun. But it was also pretty hard. I felt it was hard to like connect with them on a personal level.
Yeah.
Just because there was so many of them.
A lot of babies.
Normally you get like
a
5 coming in, and you can like get close with them, but like we had a lot.
So what I'm hearing is that this year you've grown a lot in taking care of so many freshmen that next year you're ready to take care of them even more.
I think I can take like 20 next year.
Oh.
I'd be okay with that.
So what are your thoughts of the freshman class this year? So I've heard a lot of good things, you know, talking to Bennett as well as coach, and then just within the podcast, but outside the podcast, hearing a lot. Are you pretty optimistic about this team, like on the field, but also off the field? What are your thoughts with that?
I see like a ton of growth, like guys coming in, like with some guys where I was like, you know, like I'm not sure like the character they're gonna have, like I'm not gonna sure like where they are in their faith.
Yeah,
and they've like most of them, all of them have surpassed like what my initial reaction was to them, and that has been incredible. Like Bennett, I thought you were gonna be like a goon. I thought he was just gonna be trouble. He comes in, he's an Eagle impact player for sure.
I love that.
Yeah,
there's
like
that's great.
10 other freshmen that are the same like that, and it makes my job easy. I don't have to. Sure, I'm still gonna disciple. I'm still gonna like try and care for them the best I can. Guys, maybe you shouldn't go out for pizza the night before a game.
We had a student that got a tattoo before the game.
Wow,
I know. Carson McBain, shout out.
The captain.
The captain. The captain did it, but no, that's really cool, and I love hearing everything that's what everyone has to say about the freshman class this year. This is outside the soccer team, but the freshman class this year and how they've had a massive impact on the student body. But from your what you're saying of these freshmen with the soccer team and the skill that they bring, and where we are as a team and how we're growing, would you say we're pretty close to a national championship level team skill wise?
I mean, that's what next year is going to test.
Yeah.
Coach was showing me the schedule, and we got some big teams on there.
Yeah.
Teams that I am like this year and the years before, I would definitely be like, oh man, I'm going to have to work out. I'm going to have to go out there and like work my butt off nonstop the entire game. Mm-hmm. And that would get me like really nervous. But like now I'm like super excited, nervous to play those teams, to like push ourselves. Something a little like quote I have in my mind for this season and the coming season, like no matter who we're playing, like even if we're playing Barcelona, mm-hmm. I still want to all out defense, all out attack. Yeah. Like doesn't matter who we're playing.
I get that.
That would be a tough game, but
it would be a tough game. And I love hearing all this, and on behalf of like the entire team and everything, I know they appreciate you a lot, Josh, of your leadership. And I know you won't speak a lot of your leadership and how you lead, but already in this short interview and hearing about, your goals and how you act as a player and how you care a lot about what goes on off the field, what you embody and how what your character is really reflects onto the other players. And with this young freshman class, it's really, it's a light to them. It's someone for them to seek after and follow. So on behalf of the team, as well as these, the people of the student body, they do look up to you, and they're very thankful for your leadership on and off the field. So thank you, Josh, for that. We appreciate it. Right before we leave, who do you ride with? Do you drive with Eric or McHugh?
I'm always with Coach McHugh.
Yeah, he's your buddy.
Yeah. And
you guys listen to like some orchestra music? That's what I feel like he listens to. I'm just joking.
He listens to podcasts on his own sometimes, but I'm like the co-pilot that helps him stay awake most of the time. Mm-hmm. There'll be some guys who will be like, oh, can I ride in the front? And I'd be like, are you going to talk to Coach, or are you just going to sit there quietly?
Yeah.
They're like, we'll talk.
They don't talk.
So
fair enough.
After that, I just claim it for myself.
Yeah.
But
you're the captain. Yeah. It's your seat, man. The driver's seat.
The last thing I will say.
Yeah.
Pizza Ranch, that was a blunder. That was like awful. That was on me. That was on me, guys. Like, I was like, Coach, let's go.
No more Pizza Ranch.
No more.
No more Pizza Ranch. The dessert pizza's good, but everything else is meh, I guess. I don't mind Pizza Ranch. It's whatever. But well, Josh, I wish we could talk more, but we gotta end it here. So, but thank you everyone for listening. Hopefully you were able to learn a lot from the stories of Bennett and Josh and Chris McHugh. So, but find us on our social media, follow us and everything. But thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll catch you next time. And guess what? It's a great day to be an Eagle. See you next time, everyone.